and to make it appear in the website, open the documentation and then follow the steps that I've outlined. So go to this section and then we'll see, and I'm just going to go through these steps with you now, that the first thing to do is to add metadata. We need to add an entry for the document you want to add into our Google Sheet with the information about the documents in our database. We could just edit this directly, but then we might just make mistakes. I mean, don't worry too much if you make some mistakes because the version history is preserved. But normally I would only edit this directly if I want to quickly fix something or if I want to add things in bulk. So a better way to do it, where we are guaranteed that we edit things in the right way, is by using this metadata editor. And I'm just going to use this metadata editor. This is an app that I built that is going to read in content from the Google Sheet, and then you can edit it or add new entries using this nice user interface. So you can see we can either edit existing entries and the information is going to pop up here on the right, or we can add new entries. We're going to add an entry now for maybe a book that I wrote. I'm just going to make one up, give myself a reference image here, add it to the website. Yes, photos available. Yes. Let's imagine this is a manuscript where we just have photos. It's, let's see, why does this appear? Anyway, let's say that this is Ulrich's Bible and Ulrich's Bibel in Danish, and it's by Ulrich Lengs. And it's in Sanskrit and Hindi and Danish, and I dated it to the 1890 something. It's a very insecure dating here. Oh, cool. Palm leaves, lots of lines per page. Great. Let's leave it there. I'm going to submit this. And now you are going to have to know the password. You can get that from me or from Michael or from Bjarne. Success. What we'll see now on the left, hopefully, when it updates, is that if I go to the bottom, we have indeed now a new entry for Ulrich's Bible. Yay! Step 2, where's the documentation? Step 2, upload content. I'm going to pretend here that this is a manuscript that I just have photos for. Conveniently, the pictures from my Bible is the same as this document from the Sanku library. And what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to create 3 folders. These have to be named exactly like this, and the photos in there have to be in exactly have to have exactly the same names. It's just in different sizes. So I'm going to take these original ones, and I'm going to treat them as the large ones. I'm going to do the same for the medium and for the thumbnails. Now I'm just going to super quickly resize them to make these guys a little bit smaller. I'm going to make these, they say, half the size. No, actually, let's make them so that they're about 200. Let's just do it like this. They're going to be much smaller. This is not how I would normally do this. I would have an actual sort of image editing tool, and this is going to be like tiny. Boom. All right. Now we got 3 different sizes in these folders. Cool, that was the content. Now we need to create a folder with the entries manuscript ID on our database bucket on AWS. What does that mean? Well, that means that you have to have some credentials from me, from Lal, and I'm going to go to AWS here, going to S3, this very simple storage service, and I'm going to go into this bucket here. I normally into manuscripts, and in this folder you'll see that there is a subfolder for each of the manuscripts. I'm going to create a folder here. You can also do this automatically. Let's see, and what is it going to be named? It's going to be named this, the ID. I should probably make it so that this is easy to copy. And I'm gonna create the folder. Great, now we have a folder, and it's empty. So now we just need to upload what we just created, the thumbnails, the JPEG medium, and the JPEG large. And I'm also just going to make this public read access so that people can actually see it on our website. Don't worry if you forget to do that. If you forget to do it, you can also just highlight them and then go to actions and then make public using ACL. And in fact, you could do it in bulk for all of the manuscripts in all of the folders at once if you wanted. Cool, so that was uploading content. The final step is to sync it to the website. So now we're going to have to go to our website. I am going to open the RStudio project here for the website. And what am I going to do? I am just going to go back to the documentation. I need to open this file. This is in the root folder for convenience. There, generation scripts. And then I am going to change this line. This now says your manuscript ID. To the ID that was assigned to the thing that we added, like this. And then I am going to run the lines. Let's see what I'm going to run this. What is actually going to happen? This first line is going to go and sync the kind of the index of what content is up there on AWS. It just did that. Then afterwards, we're going to have to run the next line to generate the image manifest. That's just a description of what photos are in there and what metadata it has for the Mirador viewer we use on the manuscript page. And then finally, we're going to generate the actual manuscript page by doing this. You'll see each time it goes and make sure it got the latest Google Sheet metadata. Boom. And it's also going to build the site when it finishes. Very exciting. Okay, so it just generated a markdown file for that. That is great. Let me go into the content manuscript folder, see whether that's actually correct. If I go to the very end here, why is that opening? Then, oh yes, it's there. What is inside? There's just a very simple markdown file here that just describes some metadata for my manuscript. Really good. You can see that my I'll probably in the future make it so that it don't automatically rebuild everything when you do this, because it does take a while, because it rebuilds every single page. If I just open the Git pane here, yeah, you can see that what has changed here is that now this one exists. So that was pretty good. We synced the website. Then the next step is that we need to knit the database pages to update the manuscript lists, because this actually only created the page for it. It didn't. It did not update the database listing page. So now I'm just going to go to the database.rmd file, and I'm going to knit this. So knitting just means that this is going to take this R markdown file that I used to create to sort of call a function that generates the fancy table that you see here. Oh, you don't see anything. There will be something very shortly. don't worry. We're going to update that. Actually, no. Do I know why? I don't know why. So right now we are generating this page here. So now if we go here locally, you'll see that if I go to the very end, we have Ulrich's Bible in here. Yay, amazing. Cool. And if we click at it, then we can see this is sort of by default shows the medium resolution. That was the tiny, crappy images we showed initially, or we made a bit smaller. And so there we are, and we can change the OCHS viewer as well. So that is the steps involved in getting a manuscript up with photos. Now, what if we also had some text for our manuscript. How do we actually make that happen? We're just going to delete the existing entry because if a manuscript has text, it needs to have an R Markdown file and not just a Markdown file. In order to get some text, then we need it formatted as a spreadsheet with one paragraph per row. How do we do that? Well, let's imagine that the text for my wonderful Bible was one of the Shiva texts from Gretel. Here I am on the Gretel database. I'm just gonna go into eText in Sanskrit. I'm just gonna search for Shiva, and I'm just gonna take a random text. I'm just gonna take this guy, and let's just have a look at what is in there. It looks like this, pretty nice. I'm just gonna grab a little bit of the text here, and then I'm going to open an empty spreadsheet on Google Sheets, and I'm just going to paste in what I did here, and I am actually, let me just do it a bit similar, a little bit differently. Let me just take one paragraph here per row. You could obviously also do this in an automated fashion. I'm just going to do it super manually here. I'm going to say that this is the transliteration, and I'm just going to get ChatGPT to please translate this to English. Great. So far so good. I'm going to grab this as well. I'm going to put it in there. I'm sure this is a very, very great translation. And why don't we also translate it to Danish too? Great. Cool. Again, imagine if I was someone who was really tech savvy, I could probably also just automate this generation of all of these translations, so we could have 40 different translations on the page. So let's call this translation English. Actually, let me just zoom in a little bit, and let's call this translation Danish. Good, and then I'm just going to go to File, Download, and download this as a CSV file. And let me just put that in there. Now, the naming of this file has to also be following the manuscript ID. So I'm just literally going to name it this. Good, so far, so good. And then I'm just going to drop it in there too and make this public access as well. Good. Now it's there. You also see here's the manifest files that were generated automatically for me before. Cool. That's it. You actually see extra points. Oh, I love extra points. Add one or more source text files and name them. How do I do that? Name them in the metadata. How do I do that? What if I were really enthusiastic and I wanted to say that this was the source file? I'm just gonna drop it in here, make this public access as well, and then I'm just going to tell the metadata that this exists. So let me just I'm just going to edit entries here, and I'm gonna open Ulrich's Bible. And I'm gonna say that now there's text available too, yay! And at the bottom here, txt sources. I'm just gonna say that this .txt is the name of the text file. Good. I'm gonna submit the changes, and I'm gonna say my passwords here. I'm really excited about this. I have no idea if is it going to work. Let's see. And now if we go towards the end here, we should see that now it says photos available, text available. Great. Now, how do we also make it so on the website? I am going to have to now again run this script again because I need to regenerate the page. And now if I actually I'm not going to build the new RMDs. I think I'm just going to do that manually. So what we should see now, if we go to the end here, is that my RMD file is there. I'm just going to open it, and you'll see that compared to before, we only had this header. Now we have this bit down here that is going to generate the table. You can see it's literally going to be reading in from this CSV file, and I'm going to knit it. And this is just going to create the HTML page with that fancy table in that you can see on most of the pages on our website. And hopefully this will work. Here's the website. Gonna browse the manuscripts. I'm gonna go to the end. I'm gonna open up Uluk's Bible, and there we have it. Here is our page. With the tables. So how do we push this change live? How do we make it appear to the world on our actual website? Well, we're just going to look at the file step here, commit and push updates to GitHub. Note the updates in MD and HTML files. Okay. We can see now that there is this new R Markdown file, and there's an HTML page for it, and then we also this also sort of updated the manuscript number and name. I'm just going to take all of these updated files here, and then I am going to be happy that it's extremely large. Push test update. We might in the future have a more elegant way of doing this where the table is not pre-knitted in order to make our commits smaller, but the benefit is that it okay, so when we it makes the site very fast for visitors. We can see there's nothing yet on our website, but if I were to go to Netlify, then I would be able to see that right now our you can see that I was pushing this test update here, and it's currently building. I could even go into this build log here to see what's going on. It's installing Hugo, it's doing all sorts of things, it's starting a build script, and when this is done, then we should see it up on the world. Good. Okay. Open production deploy. Is this the same thing as this? Yes, it is. Cool. Okay, here is here's our database live. If I go to the end, I can see that Uluk's Bible is on there. Hallelujah.